This video is sponsored by the coldest water. So, yesterday morning, my friend called me and told me that he had just quit his job to go full-time on his creative endeavors. And when he told me that, I couldn't help but think back to my time at H&M last year. For those of you who don't know, if you're new to my channel, I used to work at H&M, which is a clothing store, a retail company. And I was in a pretty similar situation to what he's in right now. March 9th, 2020, I quit that job. I told myself that once I quit that job, I would never go back and that my next paycheck would be from YouTube. And lo and behold, that is precisely what happened. Now, thinking back on this, it kind of opened up a lot of internal dialogue in terms of how my life has unfolded. A lot of things have changed since March 9th of 2020. I'm in a position now where I'm about to hit 90,000 subscribers. By the time I post this video, I'll surely have hit it already. I'm about to move into my new apartment, which I'm paying for with YouTube income. And I'm in the best headspace that I've ever been in my entire life. I have a very strong self-perception and I love what I do and I love who I am. And I'm fully in tune with the impact that I'm making and the way that I'm doing that, the means by which I'm able to make that impact, my gifts, my talents. And it's really helped me to see the bigger picture of how life actually works. I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself in particular on this topic, that these past few months, I've been feeling a very profound energetic shift. And to be quite blunt, it started when I ended my relationship that I was in. I might have felt little glimpses of it at the time before I ended the relationship, but once I ended that relationship and also took a break from YouTube, I really had a lot of time to focus on myself and do a lot of introspection. And through that introspection, what I realized is that faith is the new paradigm. Faith is the way by which I will get to where I want to go, if not manifesting a better life than the one that I desire. Faith is the way. Now, when I say faith, I'm not necessarily alluding to religion. Religion can be faith. There is faith to be found in religion, obviously, but when I say faith, I'm talking about blind faith. Faith in my path. Faith that logic is not always the most efficient way to get to where I want to go. And that's the shift right there. I feel like naturally, I'm a very logical, analytical, rational person. I was always a realist growing up. But what I learned over time, and especially throughout my YouTube journey, is that realism is a euphemism for pessimism. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, realism is limiting. It's inherently limiting. And so is logic. Logic is limiting. Faith, on the other hand, allows for an infinite amount of possibilities, an infinite amount of paths to wherever it is that you want to go. And I'm learning to have faith in the way that my life is unfolding. Because right now, for the place that I want to get, it doesn't necessarily seem possible to get there from where I am. But in the same way, a year ago, or a year and a half ago, when I put in my 2 weeks notice, March 9th, 2020, it didn't seem possible for me to be where I am now. And yet here I am. But how did I get here? I got here on faith, not logic. When I really think about it, logic has never actually gotten me anywhere in my life. It's always been when I followed my intuition. I followed that gut instinct, which never, ever made sense at the time. It always went against traditional, conventional logic. But it always worked out in the end. It always worked out in the end. I'm going to give you guys an example. Even dating back before I quit my job at H&M. A year before that, March 22nd, 2019, I dropped out of college. I dropped all of my classes. Now, it's not like I flunked out or anything. I had all A's and like 1 or 2 B's. I was doing very well. I was on track to go into whatever profession I wanted to go into, basically. And I could have made a lot of money in whatever profession I would have went into. Now, at the time, money was my primary goal, if I'm being honest. I just wanted to make a lot of money because I thought that that's what would fill the void. So, conventionally, logically, The most direct path to money is through college. That's what we're taught. That's what we were conditioned to believe growing up. But my intuition knew a better path, a path that got me to where I am right now, where, like I said, I'm making enough to make an actual living. And on top of that, I don't have any debt. And my actual potential for my income is unlimited. I can make as much money as I want. I can decide my income. I can make $100,000 next month. It's possible because I'm not capped off by a salary. I work for myself. And I'm at an age, I'm 21 years old, where I should still be in college. I should still be accumulating debt, much less making money. That shouldn't even be possible for me right now. And yet here I am. And how did I get here? I followed my intuition. I followed that gut feeling, the gut feeling that did not make sense. I went off the beaten path. And at first, it looked like I was moving backwards because I had to go and get a job at H&M to make money, to pay for equipment to do YouTube, which YouTube wasn't making me any money for a long time. And I was putting a lot of work into it. But I had that gut feeling deep down that if I just kept going forward, if I kept doing what I was doing, that it was going to work. And lo and behold, it did. Here I am right now, about to hit 90,000 subscribers. 100K is right around the corner. There's a lot of great things happening. And like I said earlier, it all comes back to that shift. I feel like there's an energetic shift within me right now where I'm learning to live by faith. I'm learning to live by intuition because my intuition has never failed me up to this point in my life. There were times when initially it may have seemed like I made the wrong decision, but it always worked out in the long run. Always. Never failed me at all. And I think a great analogy for this is a GPS in a car. Sometimes a GPS will tell you to go what seems like the long way, the long route. But in reality, the long route will get you there quicker. Even though you can't see it, your mind wants to take the most direct, straight path to your goal because that's all it understands. It's rooted in logic, analysis, rationality, which are typically masculine traits. So a lot of men will resonate with that. They think that things should be simple, but there's nothing more simple than just being in the moment and following your intuition, because your intuition can see the whole entire map. It sees the traffic flow. It understands that by taking the back roads, you're going to save yourself 50% of the commute time than you would have by taking the most direct path. But your mind won't be able to see that. Your mind can't possibly understand that. And like I said, it's blind faith. You're basically being told to walk on a bridge, an invisible bridge. And you have to take that step. You have to take that leap of faith in order to figure out if that bridge is actually there. And I promise you, if you have that intuitive nudge, if you feel like there's something that you need to do in your life right now, some big move that you need to make that may not make sense in the context of your goals, you need to make that move. Because if you have that gut feeling, it's for a reason. When you set that intention with the universe, i.e., placing your destination on the GPS, you have to find enough faith within you to listen to what the GPS says, to follow that route. And it's very difficult. It's difficult to develop that degree of faith and trust and confidence in that voice, that gut feeling, that nudge. But it's there for a reason. And you have to learn to follow it. I'm not saying that you can't be successful without following your intuition in that sense, but it'll be much easier. You'll be on the path of least resistance, and you'll be able to serve the most people. You'll be able to serve the most people on that path because when you follow your intuition, you are always going to make the best use of your natural gifts. Always. You may not see it now, but in the long run, it always works out that way. And like I said, that's the shift right now. I made a community post probably a few weeks ago talking about how I felt like my soul was receiving a software update. And I read some of the comments and it seemed like that resonated with quite a few of you. So I know that you guys know what I'm talking about. You feel it. You feel that energetic shift. You feel things changing around you. And it's strange because the world itself, I'm not even paying attention to that. I don't watch the news. I don't care about what celebrities are doing or what's happening on social media. None of that matters in the grand scheme of my life. I'm focused on myself and cultivating this energy in a way that will help me fill my own cup to the extent that I can have so much to give that I can live in infinite abundance. And I can just have enough faith to follow the divine flow and divine timing of the universe. I don't worry about setting deadlines anymore. I don't care about having 100,000 by this date or 1,000,000 subscribers by this date. I trust in divine timing. I know that I'll get what I desire once I'm ready for it. And a lot of times when the universe makes you wait for something for a long period of time, it's because you're going to receive something that's even better than what you asked for. When I was working at H&M, I was doing public interviews. I was doing Tinder videos. I was making entertainment content that did not reflect who I truly was. But I felt like that was the only path to success at the time because that's what everyone else was doing. I didn't know that there were people like me talking to the camera and making a living doing that. And even if I did, I didn't believe that I was capable of doing it until I did it. But in order for me to do that, I had to take that leap of faith. I took that leap of faith on myself. I took that chance by quitting my job, and a path opened up for me. A path opened up where I could truly be myself. I could discover gifts and talents that I didn't even know I had. I didn't know I was a good speaker. I didn't know I was good at communicating. I didn't know that I was spiritually advanced. And I'm not saying any of this to brag or anything, but there's a reason why you guys watch my channel. It's because, generally speaking, I have a lot of wisdom, but I didn't know any of this at the time. It took me taking that leap of faith to unlock the door to infinite intelligence, to unlock the door to infinite abundance, to pure potentiality. And I want that for everyone. I want everyone to experience that because my path has been magical and it's given me a hell of a story to tell. And your story is the foundation of your brand. If you're somebody that wants to work for yourself, your story is where it starts. Once you get people to connect with your story, everything else falls into place. But had I taken the traditional route, I wouldn't have the story that I have. I wouldn't be the person that I am. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do right now, i.e. sit here and film a video in my room and impact the lives of thousands or potentially millions. I wouldn't be able to do any of this because I would be so blinded by my attachment to logic and things having to go exactly as I see them in my head that I would have missed out on all of these blessings in my life. I would have missed out on so much growth that I've undergone. Basically, I'm saying all of this to say that you don't need to follow the logical path. We're at a point now, energetically, where you can follow your intuition and have faith in that and have complete certainty that everything is going to work out for you. Right now, I'm following my intuition. I'm making content that I want to make. I'm being myself. I'm stepping more and more into my true self every single day. And I have this deep feeling, this deep feeling within me that things are about to change for me in a very, very powerful way. And that once things change in the way that they're about to, my life is never going to be the same again. Now, I've made a few videos talking about that in the past, and it always ended up happening. Every time I made a video talking about how I felt like something was about to happen for me, it did. So I have supreme confidence at this point that the feeling that I have within me, it's not lying to me. Something big is about to happen for me. I don't know what that may be. It could be related to YouTube. It could be related to the book that I'm writing. It could be related to something that I haven't even thought of in my head yet, because my mind can't see it, but my soul can feel it. And that's all that matters. But the only way to fulfill that vision in the greatest capacity and in the way of least resistance is to follow my intuition, to follow my gut feeling, and to be present. Just be as present as possible and get in tune with myself. I've been spending a lot of time in solitude, a lot of time in nature, a lot of time in stillness, just taking time away from stimulation. Sitting in a room by yourself for 1 hour with no stimulation, will change your life. If you do that every day for 30 days, you will never look at life the same again. And I can personally attest to that. I'm speaking from experience. Every single day, I've taken time to just be by myself, be still with my thoughts, pay attention, observe my inner dialogue. And I can't ever look at life the same way again. I can't look at myself the same way again. I realize now that a lot of the things that I thought I wanted, I didn't. I didn't actually want. I just wanted the feelings that they would provide me. And all feelings are accessible to you in the here and now, particularly gratitude. You can feel grateful for where you are right now. As long as you're here, you have a reason to be grateful. And it's very interesting how this works, because when you take that time to do that introspection, to do that inner work and confront your shadows, your ego begins to dissolve. Your ego begins to dissolve, and that's when you become detached from your desires. And once you become detached from your desires, you're living by the law of assumption. You are now living in the end because you feel fulfilled. You realize that you don't need those things that you thought you wanted in order to feel the feelings that you want to feel in your life.